Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is another edition of Learning with Mr. Rollins. You see, we've got our little office here set up. We have Professor Spider-Man helping us today. And today we will be learning how to solve a two-step equation. This is part one of a two-part lesson. So go ahead and write your objective now. We'll get started in a second. So if you look right under that, we have a warm-up today. Warm-up, we want to solve the one-step equation and check your work. Super important to always check your work, because then you don't have to ask if you got it right. So let's check the equation. Pause this video and do it yourself, and then check if you did it right. Here we have 2x equals 32, and we know that because the 2 and the x are right next to each other, they're being multiplied. So we always want to do the opposite of the operation they give us. So instead of multiplying by 2, we are going to divide by 2. And notice it's the same thing on both sides of the equation. Also notice the brick wall separates the left and right sides of the equal sign. Perfect. 2 divided by 2, these cancel out. And what you end up with is 1x. I know Yahira likes when I put that invisible 1 there, so I did it for her. And on this side, we have 32 divided by 2 gives us 16. I did not do that in my head. I did my work over here. Now the check, a lot of us are still asking, how do I check my work? We start out with the equation, the exact same way it was written, 2x equals 32. But this time, we know the answer, at least we think we do, so we're checking it. Instead of the x, we're going to substitute in the answer we think, which is 16. Notice the 16 is in parentheses, because that helps us remember we're going to multiply. So over here, I did a little bit of legwork and multiplied 16 by 2 and got 32. Which shows me in my check, 32 equals 32. Check mark, we are all good. All right, so notes time, here we go. Anything written in red is notes that need to be filled in on your sheet. So when we solve two-step equations, we always look for addition and subtraction first. Once we see the addition or subtraction, we want to do the opposite operation to get rid of them. The next thing we want to do is the inverse operation of the multiplication or division shown. Again, this is a two-step equation. First step, look for addition or subtraction and do the opposite to get rid of that. Second step, look for the multiplication or division and do the inverse. Just a fancy way of saying do the opposite of that. All right, let's try this out, guys. Guided practice, we are going to solve and check your answer. Well, why do we always have to check our answer, Mr. Rollins? We check our answers because then you don't have to ask anybody if you got it right. So from here on out, I am not telling you if the answer is correct if you did not check your answer. Neither will Miss Morrissey, Miss Gomez, Miss Horn, or Miss Mannon. You are to check your own answers. Here we go. We're going to always solve first. So here's our first equation. 2x plus 8 equals 20. Notice immediately, brick wall down the middle where the equal sign is. And the first thing we see here is a plus sign. Remember, we're always looking for pluses and minuses first. So instead of adding 8, we're going to do the opposite, which is what, Spider-Man? Thank you. We want to subtract 8. So we're going to subtract 8. Notice on both sides of the equation, we're going to subtract the same 8. Keeps it equal, keeps it balanced. This 2x is just going to shoot right down. Nothing happening over there. Well, 8 minus 8 is 0, so we're not going to write that. 20 minus 8 gives us 12. Good. Now, what operation, Spider-Man, do we see here with the 2 and the x? Thank you. Those are being multiplied, so we're going to divide instead. We're going to divide because dividing is the opposite of multiplying. 2 divided by 2 gives us, Yahira, there's that invisible 1x. And then 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So our answer right now is x equals 6. So now let's check that answer. How do we start our check? We always start by writing the equation the exact way we see it. 2x plus 8 equals 20. And we're going to substitute in our answer. So it's 2, parentheses, because we're multiplying, 2 times 6. Plus 8 should equal 20. Well, what's 2 times 6, Spider-Man? 12 it is. And 12 plus 8 gives us 20. 20 equals 20. checkpoint, we got this. All right? We have 2 more problems that we will do together, and then you guys will do some on your own. All right? So here we go. We're going to solve first, and then we're going to check our answer. The equation is 4x plus 8 equals 32. Now remember, we're always looking for which operations first. That is right. We are always looking for addition or subtraction. Here we see addition. And when we see addition, we're going to do the opposite. So instead of adding 8, we're going to subtract 8. Notice we write it right under it. And then we also put this on the other side of the equation. So here we go. Don't make fun of my line. 8 minus 8 is 0. So we're not going to write anything down. But this 4x, this baby's going to come right down here. Keeping the equal sign on the brick wall. And now 32 minus 8. I'm going to use my fingers. 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. That's 24. No problem with using your fingers. You guys can also use a calculator because this is 7th grade work. So 4x equals 24. What operation do you see with the 4 and the x here? I know it's not shown, but it is multiplication, which tells us to do the opposite. So we are going to divide by 4. When we do that on this side of the equation, we have to do it on the other side. Well, 4 divided by 4 is, there you go, Yahira, 1x. Still on the brick wall in the equal sign. What is 24 divided by 4? That is right. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So we think our answer is 6. Let's go over here and check our work, all right? I'm going to use this black pen to check my work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to this x. And instead of an x, I'm going to put it in parentheses. And I'm going to put the answer we thought. The answer we thought was 6. And we're going to try this out. Everything else is going to stay exactly the same. Okay? We can only do one thing at a time. So we are going to, we're going to multiply first. Or we're going to add first. You want to multiply first. That's order of operations. Guys, remember, we always multiply and divide before we add or subtract. So we're going to say 4 times 6 here is 24. Everything else stays the same. Okay? Well, what's 24 plus 8? Let me see. I forget. So let's do a little work over here. 8 plus 4 is 12. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. That's 32. And does 32 equal 32? Yes, it does. So check mark for that. And that's right. We move on. Everybody good? One more problem. Okay, last one. We're going to solve and check 6x plus 4 equals 28. All right? Let's start over here on the solve. We always look for addition or so. Oh, found an addition sign. As soon as we find that addition sign, we're going to do the inverse operation. So we are going to subtract 4. What did Mr. Owens forget to do? I did not draw my brick wall to separate my equation. So now that we have a brick wall, I know, oh, I have minus 4 here, but nothing on the other side. So I want to put minus 4 over there as well. These guys, 4 minus 4, becomes 0. So we're not going to write anything. But this 6x is going to shoot down here because nothing happened to it. We're going to keep that equal. And now 28, minus 4. Well, 8 minus 4 is 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. So we now have 6x equal to 24. So if you've been paying attention at all, you now know that the 6 and the x are being multiplied together. Yes, this is just like Blue's Clues. I'm expecting you to say the answers with me. So 6 times x is what they're giving us. We want to do the opposite. So we are going to divide by 6. Not only over here, but we got to keep it equal and do divide by 6 over here. 6 divided by 6 becomes invisible 1, x. 24 divides into 6. Ooh, man. So right, I have a calculator for this. My calculator tells me that 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I think x equals 4. So now we're going to have to check our work. The first part of checking our work is substituting. Yes, I said I want you to say the answers out loud. I know you're not, Berto. Say it out loud. So, 6x, we want to substitute in for this x. So instead of x, I'm going to put some parentheses and throw a 4 in there. Everything else is going to, Berto, stay the same. Thank you, Michael. I heard you. So the 6 is going to stay. The plus 4 is going to stay. Equal sign on that brick wall. And 28. Okay. Michael, you were so good last time. So what do we do first? Multiply or add? Thank you, Michael. We are going to multiply first. So 6 times 4 is 24. Everything else stays the same. 24 plus 4. Jeremiah, you got this? Thank you. That is 28. I agree. And 28 equals 28. That's right. We give it a little check mark. And we're good. All right, boys and girls. That is the end. Thank you, Professor Spider-Man, for the little bit of help you gave us. And we're going to blow out this candle because we are done. Have a good one. Try those problems.